Morning, all of our Facebook fans. My name's John.
My name's Shawn.
We're here to answer some tech questions this morning. How many people do we have hanging out with us today?
Well, we just started, so nobody.
All right. Well, we're going to start with Tracy's question that emailed into us. Her question was, my water pump only works sometimes. I believe it could be a loose connection. What can I do to troubleshoot? So Shawn and I are going to take you for a quick walk through this particular motorhome, show you a couple areas you might be able to look, and then if that doesn't answer your question, you can certainly give us a call and we can book you an appointment to take care of that problem for you. But come on inside the RV and we'll take a look around. So guys, we're going to start first with our water pump switch, which we have located here. It sounds like, again, there may be power here, which we hear our water pump turn on when we turn that on. If it's, you're getting a lit up switch here and that light's flashing on and off, you could be having a failure possibly in that switch. If you're comfortable doing it, you could take this apart and look for any loose connections at the back of that switch. You could also take a look at the fuse panel, which Shawn's going to show you now.
Fuse panel is located right over here. So on your fuse panel, you're just going to look for where your water pump is, which would be right here, a 10 amp fuse. You're just going to check to see if it's good. This panel here actually will light up red if you have a blown fuse. So you check the 10 amp and it's not blown. You could check for a loose connection, make sure the fuse isn't loose in there. And if everything's good, you can go right to the water pump and check the water pump. Now the water pump, you usually got to locate where it's at. You may have to remove a panel.
This one has an access panel here.
This one's got an access panel right on the side of the sofa. There's 2 screws. You're going to pull this out right here. And your water pump will be located. And you can check your wire connections right there. Usually butt connected together or twist tied together there.
So that should take care of that question. Again, if that doesn't get you to a resolution that satisfies the problem, give us a shout here at the store and we can book you a service appointment right away. Right now, we are still currently booking appointments for service here during the corona.
We got a question on from Shawn asking, how do you get the fuse out?
For the fuse, all you're going to do is you can use a pair of needle nose pliers or your fingers. You can just pull right here and pop the fuse out. You can put a pair of needle nose right here in the middle and just pull.
Cool. Okay.
Do we have any other
Any more
live
questions? Not at the moment.
We'll move on to our second live question. This one's from Becky. What pressure should I inflate my ride right to? For those of you that aren't familiar with what ride right is an aftermarket airbag system that you can install in your tow vehicle to help level out the ride and compensate some of the tongue weight from the trailer. We can't give you a specific PSI because we're not 100% certain on which airbag system you have in your particular vehicle. Recommendation would be go on Ride Right's website, identify what airbag system you have, and then go off of the manufacturer specification based off tongue weight for that pressure.
Same thing if you have a motorized unit that has it. I know some of the Class C's out there, like the Leprechauns and that, have it. Same thing, there is a suggested PSI for that, and then you can adjust it up and down depending on how you like to ride.
Cool.
Do we have another live question, Shawn?
Cool. Nope. Not at the moment.
All right. We're going to touch base on a couple of common questions that Shawn and I encounter on the day-to-day. Customers calling in and, saying this piece of equipment's not working on my trailer. What do you think the most common one you get is?
One of our most common ones is I'm not getting any 12-volt power. So there's a whole bunch of different options that you're going to want to do to check that if you're getting power or not. First thing is when you plug in, you want to see if your battery's charging when you plug in. What you're going to do is come to your monitor panel over here and hit battery. Whenever you're plugged in, it's going to read C for charging. If you unplug the camper or if you're not charging, you're not getting power from the cord, it would just read good. If you have a voltmeter, you want to check. You want to be around 13.1 to 13.5 when you're plugged in for charging. When you're not charging, you're going to be right around 12 volts, 12.2. So the first thing you're going to do when you diag, you're going to come up here at your battery and check your connections. Right here on the battery, you're going to check your positive and your negative terminals, make sure they're tight, clean, and everything's connected good. If you have a voltmeter, you want to check your voltage here to see what your battery is. And then you have some circuit breakers. If that tests good, you're going to come down here. There's some circuit breakers on the frame rail. If they're not located on the front, they're going to be on the side here or up underneath the frame rail. You're going to check your voltage. If you got voltage there, then you're going to move to the inside to check the next location. If you don't have voltage, if you got voltage going to it, nothing coming out, then you have a bad circuit breaker. So if that tests good, we're going to go inside.
Okay, right after you finish this, we do have a couple questions.
The next step when you come inside is come to your power converter. You're going to come to the back. There's two types of power converters. There's one here that's built into your fuse panel, and then there's a standalone. This one here, there's two 40 amp fuses here. That controls your charging portion from your power converter. So you want to pull these out and check your fuses or use a voltmeter to test it. If that's blown, put it back in, and then you should start charging. If you have a standalone power converter, you're going to want to locate where that is, and there's going to be two fuses located right on that. After that, if you're getting power to here, still no voltage, or you're not charging, then you have a bad converter.
What's our question?
Can you read it out loud?
Jerry's question is, can I buy Freon for a rooftop air conditioner and add it myself?
The rooftop airs do not come with ports to recharge them. We have had a company that would recharge them, but they don't warranty them. You'd have to weld in new ports to be able to charge it. But there's no, any company that does do it will not warranty it. It's usually like a curbside warranty, they'd say, because eventually they are going to leak.
Okay, and we have Edward with a 2018 Tiffin 40AH. It says, when starting, always get low battery indicator.
It's going to be the setting of the gauge cluster, most likely. So there's a setting in the, assuming this is a Freightliner chassis, there is a setting in there for the threshold for the voltage for it to throw a low voltage error. Typically they're set down below 12 volts. So when you're cranking the engine over, it's going to be drawing a mass amount of power out of that battery in order to crank that starter over for that big diesel engine. So what you are going to see is a period of time where that voltage is going to drop below that threshold, and that's usually when that low voltage error comes up on the dashboard. So most of the time you can clear it out. Again, you want to monitor the voltage on the gauge cluster and see if it's coming back up above that 12 volts to show that you are charging. And if you're charging, you'll replenish that battery, and the low voltage alarm is almost it's not.
It's common on
it's
most
common.
of your diesels. It'll come on, and then after running for a minute, it will go out. Any more questions?
Not from this end, no.
All right, John. What's another thing that we run into question-wise? What's one of the most common?
Another one is going to be, my lights are working, but my microwave or my water heater stopped working on electric. So I'm actually going to run outside and do a quick setup just to kind of show you that scenario really quick. If you guys want to stay in here, I'll be right back in. Okay, microwave should be out now at this point in time. We're going to do a quick reverse of what's going on. So the common phone call we get is, hey, my microwave's not working, my air conditioner's not working, but all my lights are still working, my water pump's still working, my furnace is working, why aren't these things working? And what that usually points back to is no 110 power. And what newer people, or even some people that have been camping for a while, they get the two electrical systems in an RV mixed up. There's 12 volt power, which is your battery that we just showed you a little while ago, and then there's 110 residential power, which is your outlet, to put it in the best way. So your air conditioner, your microwave, your electric elements for the refrigerator and the water heater run off of residential voltage. So you'll see here, battery, it's not on full charge anymore. It's starting to drop back down, which is an indicator that the charging system's not working. That also works off of the residential power, the 110 power. You can come over to the microwave again and see that it's got no lights, it's not lit up at all. And again, we know that it was just plugged in a little while ago. We'll ask the customer, hey, is the RV plugged in? Yep, it's plugged in. I'm 100% certain I've got it plugged in. Come on outside, we'll show you. Yep, sure enough, short cord's plugged in. It's plugged in down here. In this particular case, we did do a setup to kill the power to this plug. A lot of times at a campground, you'll have a circuit breaker at the plug that lets you turn it on and off. An indicator on this particular short cord, this one's nice and it has LED indicators. Those are off, so it's showing you have no power there. At home, if you have it plugged into
20 amp service.
you've got to drop down to a 20 amp service, you know, your standard receptacle at home. You may have overpowered that and popped a fuse breaker inside of your home that caused this scenario to happen. We see this quite a bit. So again, we'll pretend like this was the circuit breaker and reset that breaker. And if you guys want to go back inside, you'll see that the microwave came back on.
So once they flipped the breaker, our microwave came back on. Sometimes that still doesn't work. If the microwave and that doesn't come on, a lot of your coaches have a GFI outlet, which is going to be located in the kitchen area or the bathroom. In this case, this trailer, the GFI, is in the bathroom. So if that trips, the red light comes on, it'll just say we're not getting any 110 power to our GFI outlets. And that you're just going to come in and hit that. Some trailers or motorhomes have one, other ones have two. We have any more questions?
Here's a question. Got an 18 reflection fifth wheel. My rear jacks keep giving me an error code when I try and retract.
Depending on the system, if they're electric or hydraulic, you can try resetting the control panel by hitting all 4 buttons on one of the Lippert panels, or you can hit the 2 arrow buttons and hold it down to reset it. And then once you try it, sometimes what happens is they time out. If you have low voltage, they will not come up. Otherwise, if you have an electric one, you may have a bad motor or a bent jack.
That was an 18?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Nope, not on
This
this
is another
one.
common one you see. Fridge doesn't get cold.
Yep, fridge isn't getting cold. One of the common things for your fridge not getting cold is either you don't have enough voltage, or inside your refrigerator here, there's on the fins, on the Dometic refrigerators, you have a little sensor here that you can raise up and down to make the fridge colder or warmer. What happens is, a lot of times this wire here gets knocked out and is just hanging down here. If this wire is hanging and not up here on the fins, it will not cool properly. So like here, once we turn the fridge on, this is here, it's not going to cool. So the biggest thing is you want to make sure this sensor always stays up here. This pops right off. Just pop it back in, and you can slide it up and down. Okay, and then one of the other things is on there, the tube in the back, outside of the refrigerator. You want to keep that clean, because if the flame's not burning right, it's not going to cool properly.
Another simple one that we find. Let's see if we can get this one to do it.
That may be the blown fuse.
So this particular one, the panel's not lighting up, but a lot of times you'll be running this on gas here. This check light will illuminate, which will tell you, again, like Shawn said, if that burn tube's got obstructions in it, it won't burn properly to cool the fridge down. But it could also indicate that you have no gas, and this is one that we see quite a bit. People forget to turn the propane tanks on, or it's the beginning of the season, it was empty at the end of the year, completely forgot to fill the tank. Using your gas stove, if you have that option, is always a great indicator of that. So you can just come over here and turn your stove on, give it a couple of clicks. You can see that there's no flame. So this is a great visual to see if you have propane to the system and kind of rule that out. In this particular case, we don't have any 12 volt to this fridge right now, so we can go back to that panel box like Shawn said and look for our fuses and figure out that problem. Again, obviously we we have two problems. We don't have electric and we don't have gas to the system. You go back out to your propane tanks, which we'll walk you out to and show you real quick. And again, you got your propane cover here. We're going to pull that off.
And then you just go on and make sure they're open. So you just open it up. Now there is a valve on this side, so you know if it's on going to this tank or the other tank. So you just flip the lever to which tank you're going to use and make sure that one's open.
And your indicator looks like it's showing good, so we'll go back inside. When you turn a propane tank on, you're going to want to purge the system and get all of the regular air out and get the system filled with LP gas. Sometimes if you go and fire up your fridge or your hot water heater right after you turn the tank on, it's going to code out and say it didn't sense a flame because it had regular air in the system. So you'll come back to your stove, and this is kind of a good, quick way to purge it.
You're going to push it in.
That's fine. So we've got a flame. We're going to let that roll for, I don't know, 15 seconds to 30 seconds, and that usually takes care of the gas system in the RV and purges out most of the air. So we've got a good blue flame that indicates you got good gas pressure, good flow to it. You're looking for that nice blue flame.
We got a question from Rebecca saying my black water tank doesn't fully eliminate on the Leprechaun.
Doesn't fully what?
Maybe empty?
Doesn't fully empty. Usually what it is, your sensors are probably dirty inside. We do have, it's called level gauge cleaner. You actually fill up your tank and you put it in there. You let it sit for 24 hours. You drive the coach around and then you're going to dump it to clean the sensors. Otherwise, you can run water and just fill your tank and drain it several times to try to clean the sensor. If not, you may have a bad sensor and the sensor may need to be changed out.
Also chemical. Make sure you use a chemical.
You're using chemicals, digesters, and different chemicals when you're using the toilet. Just so everything breaks down and nothing gets stuck.
Cool.
What other questions do we have?
Those are the biggest ones.
That's the most common thing I can think of.
Do you want to give us a little snippet of the next video we're going to be posting?
So the next video we're going to be posting is about our check-in process here at Colton RV during the Corona pandemic. Obviously, your safety is a big concern of ours, as well as our staff here at Colton RV. We're trying our best to make sure that everybody is safe out there and safe when they're coming in to see us for service while we're open and still helping you guys out. So our check-in process is very detailed. We're taking our time to ensure that your coach is the cleanest we can make it while we're working on it and getting it back to you as well. So John's going to be posting a video here shortly and getting that out to you folks and showing you our step-by-step process and how we're doing that to keep everybody safe.
Cool.
All right.
So that's it. We thank you guys for joining us today. If there's any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Give us a shout here at the store. Our phone number here is 716-694-0188. And you're welcome to call us anytime if you have any questions. Like I said, leave them in the comments and we'll either answer back, or if you want to throw us a message online, we can also call you back and help you out with any questions you have if you catch this video later on.
Cool. Thanks, guys.